Welcome to Caroline Effect, where we explore the hidden psychology of attraction, emotional connection, and timeless relationship wisdom that helps men build deeper, more meaningful bonds. Most men believe attraction begins with physical touch, but they're missing what matters most. The truth is, a woman responds to how you make her feel long before she responds to your touch. Today, you'll discover the subtle emotional secrets that can transform ordinary moments into lasting connection. Gentlemen, let me begin with something many men never fully realize. Touch is far more than physical contact. It is a silent form of communication, a way of expressing care, trust, and emotional connection. Many men believe they understand how to touch a woman, but in reality, very few recognize the emotional meaning behind it. Certain parts of a woman's body can create a deep sense of closeness when approached with patience, respect, and genuine awareness. The real secret isn't knowing where to touch, it's understanding why the touch matters. After spending more than 2 decades working with couples and studying relationship dynamics, I've learned one important lesson. Relationships rarely struggle because of a lack of attraction. They struggle because emotional connection slowly fades. I've watched countless men believe they were expressing love, while their partners quietly felt unseen or emotionally distant. The difference isn't technique, it's presence. Women often communicate without saying a word. Their expressions, posture, eye contact, and subtle reactions reveal far more than most men notice. The problem is that many men never learn to recognize these quiet signals. Ask yourself this: when you reach out to touch someone, do you think about the feeling you're creating, or only the action itself? A touch can either feel routine or deeply meaningful. That difference determines whether it builds closeness or leaves emotional distance. Long before your hand reaches her, she's already responding to your attitude, your attention, and your intentions. Emotional closeness almost always comes before physical closeness. When a woman feels respected, appreciated, and emotionally safe, her guard naturally lowers. Without that foundation, even the most well-intended gesture can feel empty or uncomfortable. Years ago, one woman shared a sentence that stayed with me. She said, "Don't touch me unless I can feel that you're truly with me." Those words explain what many women experience. The touch itself isn't what matters most. Feeling emotionally understood is. Let's begin with something simple: her hands. Many men overlook them, yet they carry tremendous emotional meaning. Holding her hand with warmth and genuine attention sends a message of comfort, reassurance, and connection. A gentle stroke across her fingers, or a relaxed squeeze of her palm, often creates feelings of trust and closeness. Couples who continue holding hands throughout their relationship frequently describe feeling emotionally connected even after many years together. Even small details matter. Clean, warm, well cared for hands quietly communicate respect before a single word is spoken. Another meaningful area is the back of the neck near the hairline. This part of the body often stores tension. A slow, gentle touch here, given without expectation, can communicate reassurance and calm rather than excitement. I remember one couple who had grown emotionally distant after decades together. One evening, without saying anything, the husband gently rested his hand on the back of his wife's neck. She paused, took a deep breath, smiled, and naturally leaned toward him. That simple gesture reopened a connection they thought had disappeared. The lower back is another place many men underestimate. A light hand resting between the waist and hips during everyday moments can communicate stability, affection, and quiet support. Whether walking together, standing in the kitchen, or sharing silence, that simple gesture often says, "I'm here with you," without feeling controlling or demanding. These areas aren't powerful because they're physical, they're powerful because they communicate emotional safety. The hands, the neck, and the lower back quietly tell her she's valued, noticed, and respected. When that feeling grows, emotional closeness naturally becomes stronger. Another meaningful area lies just behind the ear and along the jawline. This is a place that usually feels comfortable only when trust already exists. Gentle, respectful contact here can communicate appreciation and tenderness. One woman once explained that this kind of touch didn't simply make her feel attractive, it made her feel cherished. That emotional distinction matters more than many men realize. The space between the shoulder blades also deserves attention. Few people think about it, yet emotionally it often represents protection and reassurance. A calm hand resting there can quietly communicate, "You're not alone." Because she can't easily see or monitor that part of her body, it naturally requires trust. That simple gesture often helps someone relax emotionally without saying a single word. Finally, there's the area around the inner knee and upper leg, well away from intimate areas. This space should always be approached respectfully and only within a trusting relationship. A gentle touch here communicates patience rather than urgency. It says you're comfortable moving at a pace that feels safe for both of you, instead of rushing toward physical intimacy. The biggest lesson is this: women rarely respond to touch alone. They respond to the meaning behind it. Presence, patience, emotional awareness, and respect transform an ordinary gesture into something unforgettable. When your actions consistently communicate safety, appreciation, and genuine care, physical connection becomes a natural extension of emotional connection instead of a substitute for it. Real intimacy isn't created by knowing the right technique. It's built by making another person feel understood, valued, and emotionally secure. When that foundation exists, even the smallest gesture can speak louder than words ever could. Approaching the inner thigh with patience, respect, and sensitivity can strengthen emotional closeness because it communicates awareness, self-control, and genuine consideration. It shows that you're paying attention to her comfort, honoring her boundaries, and fully present in the moment instead of rushing ahead. The final area is the lower abdomen, just below the navel. Many men overlook it, yet it often carries deep emotional meaning. This part of the body represents a place where vulnerability and emotion meet. Any touch here should be slow, gentle, and filled with care, as if you're handling something deeply valuable. When a woman feels comfortable enough to welcome this kind of closeness, she's sharing more than physical space. She's allowing you into a place of emotional trust. This isn't about immediate gratification, it's about patience, openness, and genuine connection. Why do these areas matter so much? Because women often experience touch differently than many men expect. Their emotional response frequently comes before the physical one. Certain forms of respectful, intentional touch encourage feelings of trust, comfort, and closeness by activating the brain's natural bonding responses. A thoughtful touch quietly communicates, "I see you, I respect you, and you matter." No shortcut or rehearsed technique can replace that feeling. The secret isn't complicated, but it is often ignored. Slow down. Stay fully present. Notice how she responds without expecting anything in return. These moments don't have to happen only during romantic occasions. A gentle touch while she's reading, preparing dinner, or simply standing beside you can sometimes say more than an entire conversation. Over time, these small gestures build emotional security, helping her feel appreciated, noticed, and genuinely cared for. One husband once told me he couldn't explain exactly what changed. He simply noticed that his wife gradually became warmer, more affectionate, and more emotionally open. She never pointed to one specific moment, she simply felt the difference. That's the real message here. These aren't buttons that produce reactions, they're opportunities to strengthen trust. Every respectful, caring gesture quietly deepens the emotional bond between two people. You may wonder why emotional connection deserves so much attention. The answer is simple. Relationships last when they're built on trust, presence, and mutual respect. Touch by itself has little meaning. It's the intention behind it that creates connection. A careless gesture is quickly forgotten, but a thoughtful one can leave a lasting emotional impression. The 7 areas we've explored, the hands, the back of the neck, the lower back, behind the ear, between the shoulder blades, the inner thigh, and the lower abdomen, should never be treated like a checklist. Think of them instead as pathways to emotional closeness. Each one offers a quiet opportunity to express care, affection, and understanding without speaking a single word. When a woman feels emotionally safe and respected, deeper intimacy often develops naturally. The practical approach is straightforward. First, move slowly and pay attention. Watch her reactions and let them guide you. Presence always matters more than intensity. Second, be consistent. Gentle moments shared during everyday life, walking together, cooking side by side, or relaxing on the couch, often create stronger emotional memories than dramatic romantic gestures. Finally, always place emotional safety first. Never rush, pressure, or ignore boundaries. Trust grows where respect is consistently shown. Remember that none of this is about performance. It isn't about trying to create instant results or following a formula. It's about becoming more attentive, more thoughtful, and more emotionally available. When someone truly feels seen, appreciated, and understood, physical closeness becomes a natural extension of emotional intimacy, rather than the goal itself. One final thought. Many men underestimate the lasting influence of small, meaningful gestures. Holding her hand during a walk, resting your hand gently on her lower back, or softly touching the back of her neck can gradually rebuild closeness, even in relationships that have existed for many years. These quiet moments accumulate over time, creating trust, emotional security, and lasting affection. Every touch tells a story. When your actions communicate respect, patience, and sincere care, the message becomes clear. I see you. I value you. You matter to me. More than anything else, that's what creates genuine connection. Emotional closeness always comes before lasting intimacy. No matter how long you've been together, it's never too late to strengthen your relationship. One thoughtful gesture, repeated consistently with genuine care, can begin a completely new chapter. The strongest relationships aren't built through speed or technique. They're built through awareness, kindness, and emotional presence. In the end, your hands become more than a way to express affection. They become a quiet language of trust, understanding, and love. When you approach each moment with patience and sincerity, your relationship naturally becomes stronger, deeper, and more fulfilling. So take your time, stay present, pay attention to the little moments. Let every gentle gesture reflect what words sometimes cannot. Real connection is built one respectful touch, one caring moment, and one intentional act of love at a time. True intimacy is never created through pressure or perfect technique. It's built through patience, respect, emotional presence, and genuine care. If you learn to make a woman feel safe, valued, and truly understood, your connection will naturally grow stronger with every meaningful moment you share. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join Caroline Effect for more timeless relationship insights.